There's something different about people who came home to an empty house every day after school. Not neglected, not broken, just capable. Because being a latchkey kid in the Gen X era wasn't a problem to solve. It was a skill set to build. And in a world where kids today can't even walk to school alone, that experience created adults who trust themselves in ways most people never learn. Let's start with what everyone still gets wrong. We assume constant supervision builds security. But for Gen X kids, coming home to silence built something stronger. Self-reliance. Imagine this. You're 8 years old. The school bus drops you off at the corner. You walk up to your front door, fish the key from under your shirt, tied on a string around your neck, and let yourself in. The house is quiet. No one greets you. No snacks waiting. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking clock. You drop your backpack, make yourself a peanut butter sandwich, pour a glass of milk straight from the carton. Then you sit down at the kitchen table and start your homework. All alone, every single day. This wasn't rare. In the 1970s and 1980s, with more parents working and divorce rates rising, millions of kids became latchkeys. You had a key, you had responsibility, and you had hours, sometimes 3 or 4, before anyone came home. What did you do? You figured it out. You watched TV, but only for an hour because those were the rules. You called a friend on the landline, but not too long because long distance cost money. You read comics, drew pictures, or stared out the window thinking about nothing at all. No panic, no fear, just competence. Day after day, you proved something to yourself. I can handle this. I don't need someone watching over me to survive. That routine did something powerful to your brain. Psychologists call it developing an internal locus of control, the belief that you control your own outcomes. Not luck, not other people. You, when homework was hard, you pushed through because no one was there to help. When you got hungry, you made food because no one was there to feed you. When the phone rang and it was a wrong number, you handled it politely. Because who else would? This wasn't abandonment, it was empowerment. Studies show children who grow up with this kind of independence often become adults who are less anxious about uncertainty, better at problem solving, and more resilient under stress. Because every afternoon was a quiet lesson in self-sufficiency. But let's be honest, it wasn't always easy. There were days when the house felt too quiet, the kind of quiet where every sound feels louder than it should. You heard a strange noise, and your heart raced. You burned your snack or spilled milk and had to clean it up alone. Those moments taught emotional regulation. You felt scared or frustrated, but you couldn't text anyone for reassurance. So you sat with it, breathed through it, and eventually it passed. No apps to distract you. No adults narrating your feelings. Just you learning that emotions are temporary. That discomfort doesn't last forever. And that built a quiet strength, the ability to self-soothe without external validation, something that's becoming rare in our always connected world. Then came boredom, homework finished, your one TV show watched, and still hours left before dinner. No internet, no endless streaming, just time. So you wandered the house, reorganized your baseball cards, built forts out of couch cushions, or lay on your bed daydreaming. That empty time wasn't wasted. It was brain training. Research shows unstructured downtime quietly fuels creativity, self-reflection, and independent thinking. You learned how to entertain yourself without stimulation, how to be comfortable in silence. That's why many Gen X adults today can sit through delays without melting down, or spend a weekend alone without feeling lost. Of course, there were risks. You weren't supposed to answer the door for strangers, or use the stove without permission. Sometimes you did anyway. A small burn from the toaster taught caution. A bad judgment call taught awareness. No helicopter parents preventing every mistake. Instead, you learned to assess situations quickly. Is this safe? Can I handle this? That skill, real risk assessment, stuck with you. It's why, as an adult, you're often the calm one in a crisis. You don't overreact, you evaluate. Socially, latchkey life shaped you too. With no one around, you sometimes called friends, but phone time was limited. So you planned ahead. Or you learned to be alone. You discovered that friendship doesn't require constant contact. That being by yourself isn't the same as being lonely. And when conflicts happened at school, you couldn't immediately vent. You processed it quietly, which built emotional independence. Now, decades later, many latchkey kids watch modern parenting and quietly shake their heads. Today's children have safety nets everywhere. We had one thing, ourselves, and that was enough back then. And it still is. Latchkey life wasn't perfect. It left marks. But it also created adults who trust their instincts, handle solitude, and bounce back without needing a crowd. In a world obsessed with safety and connection, Gen X latchkey kids carry something priceless, the knowledge that we can stand on our own. Were you a latchkey kid? What did your afternoons look like? Quiet house, cartoons, homework, boredom? Did it make you stronger? Share your story in the comments and subscribe for more Gen X psychology and nostalgia. Thank you for watching.